Good morning, everybody. This is Terry with Gateway 2 Counseling. Welcome to the Ask Terry Show. So, this question today comes from an event that I was at this weekend. My younger cousin actually got married this weekend. Um, he's under 25, right? So, we were having this conversation, and the question was asked, should people get married when they're young? So let me back up and say we come to you live here on our page Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from 8:15 to 8:30, thereabout. And then we rebroadcast in our group, okay? So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to send them to me. So let me go ahead and get just a little bit more adjusted, right? So, yeah, we were having this conversation. This is a family event. And I was actually surprised the person who asked this question simply because they were older and they themselves got married young and was married for over 50 years until her husband passed away. I am blessed to be in a family where marriages have lasted for so long. I have older cousins, I have aunts and uncles. Most of my aunts and uncles have been married for 40, 50 plus years. Some of my older cousins, over 35, 40 years, they've been married. And all of them, of course, got married when they were young. I have some younger cousins who have been married 18, 19 years. I say younger, they're just a little bit younger than me. But they've been married for a really long time. And even my grandmothers, when their husbands passed away, never remarried. They were fairly young when their husbands passed away. In their 50s. Yeah, that's young. And never did remarry after that, right? They were married for a long time. So, what do we think about getting married when you're under 25, when you're 18, 19 years old? What I hear a lot of people say is that you shouldn't get married that young because you're so immature. Someone said to me, oh, they should be able to go and sow their wild oats, right? And I understand that idea. I understand that concept. But I don't know if it's true. I remember having a conversation a few years ago. We were actually in church, and we were going back and forth about, sexuality and things like that in church. And the priest was, I had to ask a question about his thoughts of people getting married young. And he said he believed they should. Guys, back in the day, long time ago, people got married young. And I think it was for the best. Thank you. Because, your body is developing, right? By 13, 14, 15 years old, you are becoming more sexually aware. And I've known, it's legal now to get married at the age of 16, right? We have it where girls were marrying as young as 12. They were marrying older men. It was legal back then. But I believe that people were able to appropriately express themselves in a committed relationship. Whereas now, I work with adolescents who are engaging in sexual activities to the point that it's becoming an addiction because of the internet and mass media. I'll give you an example. We have kids who are becoming addicted to porn, boys and girls. And then they don't know what to do with all this sexual energy. So then they go out and they sexually offend their little brothers and sisters. They go out and sexually offend, someone that's half their age, and they think that it's okay. And now they're introducing sexual activities to a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, right? And these are boys and girls doing these things. It used to be that it was just boys. When I became a licensed sex offender treatment provider, it was primarily males that we were treating. And I've always chosen to work with the adolescent male sex offenders. But nowadays, I have female adolescent sex offenders. Or we have the other extreme where girls are sneaking out of the house in the middle of the night. They're running away from home, not because they hate their home. They love their home. They just want to have sex. And so they're getting out there, and they're doing it in the backyard. They're doing it outside at the park. They're doing it by the bayou. They're doing it in the school, behind the stage, and in the bathrooms. I've known adolescent boys to have threesomes, all males, behind the school, like doing lunch. There's a school over in Lamar Consolidated where this consensual act was occurring between two 17-year-olds doing lunch at a picnic table where everyone could see them. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is, we have a society now that says that you should wait, that you should sow your white oats. Well, I can tell you that a lot of young people, they do want to get married and they do want to be committed, but we're telling them that they should wait and that they should not commit long term to anyone until they're older. And I think we're setting them up for failure. You know, how is it that back in the day, people got married so young and stayed married? I'll tell you why. Because they were raised to believe that you were committed for life, that it wasn't a trial run, that it wasn't, well, let me see if this is going to work out, right? Well, if it doesn't work out, then I can always just leave. And yes, this is coming from a person who's been divorced, right? I do believe that I've talked to so many older couples. I have surrounded myself. When I was married, I surrounded myself, or we surrounded ourselves with couples who had been married for a very long time, over 25 years. And we wanted to have an environment of encouragement. And still, my marriage did fail. But I still love what I was learning from those individuals. And one of the things that I learned was that it wasn't easy. There were very, very difficult times. There was affairs. Both the man and the woman had affairs at various times. And yet they overcame that. There was spousal abuse. And they overcame that. I think is very hard. And I think at times there was a lot of anger in those relationships. And there was uncertainty. And I've heard older women say, as long as he brought the paycheck home and took care of the home, I didn't care what he did. And I know we women are different, aren't we? We do care. But what I hear women saying nowadays is that they can't find anyone else. You know, they can't find that love. And I think that's what makes the commitment there. Because through it all, you know that person really loves you. And you're willing to stay committed. And let's remember, people that are in their 70s, right? And maybe even 80s who have been married for that many years. Their parents were also married for many, many years, weren't they? And they endured even more. I don't know if we are set up today to endure. It was so funny. When my little cousin was getting married, his bride said to him, you know, I will, I'm going to try to say this as correctly as I can, but she said, I will try to not take it personal every time you choose to go fishing over spending time with me. And everyone laughed and she laughed, and we all know she's serious about it, right? But she's also trying to understand, right? That he loves to go fishing. And what a wonderful thing that he loves to go fishing and not doing other things. He's a hardworking man, right? At a young age. And so he wants to make his marriage work, and he is committed to making it work. And he's been surrounded by individuals, like I said, in our family, including his parents, who have been married for a very long time. So what I'm saying to you is, yes, I do believe that a person should get married when they're young, because I don't think there's any love greater than that love. You will always compare all your other loves to that love. I've known people who didn't get married to their first love because they didn't have the house, they didn't have the car, they didn't have the finances that they wanted. And yet, together you can learn to make it work, right? I mean, together you can learn to do that. And you don't have to have it all together. I do believe that you should at least have your own place. You should be able to have enough money to at least have a dump. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Like my aunt and my uncle, I got lots of aunts and uncles, but one of them told me the story of she and her husband, they went to the courthouse and they got married. And came home and told her mom and dad that they had gotten married. Didn't give them any warning. They were still married to this day. And my grandmother said to her, well, congratulations. That's wonderful. Where are you guys going to live? And my aunt's mouth just dropped, she said. And she said because she had planned in her mind that her and my uncle were going to live with them. And my grandmother was very clear. No, you're not living here. That's fine if you went out and felt that you were grown to be married. I think my aunt was like 18, 19 years old at the time. And so, I think they've been married now over 40 years. So, it's like they went and they did that. But my grandmother was clear. You need to have your own place. And why? Because you are a grown woman. And no two grown women should be living in the same house. Am I right? So there's going to be too much conflicts. You want to be intimate with your husband, don't you? You don't want to be intimate with your husband in a room next to your mom and dad. So go and get your own place. So that would be the only thing. And they did go and get their own place. It was a little bitty house. It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, little bitty shack. And they worked at Pizza Hut, and they made it work. They made it work, right? And to this day, they're still together through all kinds of hills and valleys and good times and bad times, right? And they love each other so, so very much. And I'm so glad that I get to witness that love that grew from the age of 18 to one of my aunts and uncles are in their 70s. And I see all the love that they have and the commitment that they have to each other and the friendship that they have. So guys, let's work together to encourage. When we go to a wedding, we're there to encourage them not only on that day, but forevermore, right? We are making a commitment to them to support them in their marriage. So when you have someone that comes to you and says, hey, I'm really in love with this person, and we're only 20 and we're in college, should we get married? Yes. Can you at least support yourself to have an apartment and pay for your expenses? Can you at least just do that? If you can't, then let's wait until you graduate from college. Not till you get your master's, not till you get your PhD, but when you get your bachelor's, and then you can go back, right? I know some of you out there might be doctors and you might want to complete your residency, but that takes so long, right? So if you're in love with someone, then go ahead and make that commitment and move in together. No, not before you're married. Get married and then start living together as husband and wife and stay committed to each other. And if you guys need help, guess what? We do marriage counseling here at Gateway to Counseling. So if you need anything, we're just a click away. We're bringing peace, joy, love, and light into the lives of millions with affordable online counseling anywhere, anytime. We do take insurance. Enter our gates into a brighter tomorrow where you are in control. Bye-bye.